So let's make a new method on main. I'll call it save note. We'll pass it a note. It's going to be an arrow function again. So what do we need it to do? Well, first of all, let's go ahead and pass this down to the form. So instead of passing down set current note, I'll pass down save note. Back in note form, instead of set current note, I have save note, which is what I'll call here. Otherwise, I don't know that I actually need to change note form. The way we did this is fine. I just need to call this new function, and I'm not quite sure how it works yet. So save note needs to update current note to what we typed. That'll keep the form working. That'll keep current note up to date. But it also needs to keep the array up to date, right? That's the tricky part. So we need a copy of the array. We can't just mess with the array directly, right? This.state.notes. We're going to need a copy we can mess with. So let's do const notes equals a copy of this.state.notes. We use the spread operator inside an array literal, which gives us a copy of this array. Then I need to find this note that was passed in inside the array. I need to find the one in there that has the same ID, basically, right? I can't look for an exact match. The title would have changed. Plus, I'm actually dealing with copies of objects now, so I can't use index of. It's not the same object anymore. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this problem. It would just be changing as we typed. We're actually dealing with copies of objects now. So I'm going to have to actually go through that dang array and look for one with the same ID. Anybody know a relatively easy way to do that? Basically without using a for loop? Anybody happen to know? So index of, we'll just look through an array and find the index of the item in the array that matches perfectly what you sent it. But we can't just do a comparison between two objects. It won't just check if all the properties are the same. It'll want it to be the same dang object. So we're going to have to do something else. Luckily, there is another similar method in JavaScript. JavaScript array find index. Similar to index of, except instead of just passing it a value, you pass it a function. So it's kind of like map and for each. You'll pass find index a function. It'll call it once for every item in the array. But the way it works is that it just looks for an item that matches whatever you tell it. So your function should return true or false. As soon as your function returns true, it'll return you the index of that item. So you determine what your test is. It doesn't just do a comparison. So we can just compare the IDs. Let's have a look. So I could say notes, which again is a copy of this.state.notes. Notes.findIndex. Pass it a function. My function will be given the current note as an argument. And then I just need to write a function that returns true if it's the note I want. And that'll be the case whenever current note.id triple equals note.id. So it'll call this callback for every item in the array, just like map or for each. And as soon as this returns true, it'll stop and it'll return that index. So I'll save that index here. Const I equals. Then we know we've got the right note. Then I suppose I could say notes, square bracket I equals note. Just replace that item in the array with the one that was passed in. And set state so that the array is updated. This.setState. I want to update this.state.notes to be whatever's in my notes variable here. And we learned the other day that if you're setting an object property to a variable that has the same name, we can just shorten this. Set state notes. Seems like it should work. My form's back to not working. Why? I also need to update current note, right? Current note is what's actually bound to the form. So I need to also this.set current note. Note. Or in set state, I could say comma current note. Note. Same thing. Make it two separate calls, or we could do it this way. But you need to update notes and current note. Yeah, now we're talking. All right, so let's edit JS thoughts. I just love JS so much, but React is even better. Look at that. It updates it right as I type. JS thoughts, y'all. We did it. Now let's create a new note and start typing. Well, where's that one? So what's happening now? It's running find index, not finding it, returning -1. So I'm setting notes -1 equals to that. Fat lot of good that does me. But this is progress. Edit existing notes. Or update existing notes, whatever you want to call it.